Oh, man, we got some good news to talk about today. This morning, it broke. Za'Darius Smith heading to the Atlanta Falcons to join this edge room that, we need some help there. The reports flooded out. The contract is as followed. It's a 1-year, $6 million deal with incentive upside up to $8 million. Some might say this is overpaying for Za'Darius Smith. However, I think this is a great deal, and I'm going to tell you why. Welcome into Falcons Today, brought to you by PrizePicks. Joe Cronin here, and Dirty Birds with good news rolling. It's time to shout out some of the new people that have joined this cast. Some recent subscribers. We got Up Next Media, barely still here, Joaquin Garcia, and Samuel White. Shout out to people that decide to join Falcons Today as recent subscribers, because here's the thing. This is the fastest growing Falcons content on the internet, on YouTube, and you do not want to miss when news breaks and things happen, and there is always plenty to talk about, especially when it comes to our beloved Dirty Birds. So with that being said, if you want a chance to get shout out on a future video, yesterday we had a great new number of new subscribers. 38 was the total. Can we reach 40 on Tuesday? Can we keep pumping those numbers up? Because as preseason continues to roll with joint practice starting tomorrow, oh man, the news is going to be flowing. There's going to be plenty of things to talk about, and you don't want to miss it. Join this crew, join this cast, because we have fun. That's what we do, and I'll show you how much fun we have come Saturday with our preseason watch party against the Colts. So Za'Darius Smith, long-tenured veteran in this National Football League as an edge rusher, really blossomed onto the scene in 2019 after a handful of years with the Baltimore Ravens. Last year, though, was with the Philadelphia Eagles, and after 5 games, decided to, say that's enough football for him. He retired after 5 games. However, he had been working out with the Cleveland Browns as of late until Ian Cunningham says, not so fast. He strikes in, and yes, this is a massive positional void for our Atlanta Falcons. Jalon Walker is out for the season with that ACL tear. James Pearce Jr. suspended for 8 games. And one of the Cleveland Browns reporters was talking about, hey, Za'Darius Smith is about to sign with the Browns. He was projected to. Here's what she had to say. Smith, 33, was set to fly to Cleveland on Sunday to sign a 1-year contract with the Browns, but the Falcons called and offered to bring him in for a tryout on Monday with linebacker JPJ, 8-game suspension, and defensive end Jalon Walker being lost for the season, a torn ACL. The Falcons had a bigger role, and that they did. Now, like I mentioned, Za'Darius Smith last season, only 5 games. The production wasn't exactly there. 1.5 sacks through those 5 games. I'd say that's okay. Nothing really to write a book about. But he retired. Just keep that in mind, that he decided to end his career pretty abruptly because his role wasn't that big. He's going to have a much bigger role with the Atlanta Falcons, and he's also not that far removed from very productive and strong seasons, some of which with the Eagles, some of which with the Cleveland Browns, some of which with the Minnesota Vikings, 2022. That's a 10-sack year for Za'Darius Smith. That's the last time he was a Pro Bowler. Keep in mind, he is a 3-time Pro Bowl edge rusher. Came onto the scene with the Green Bay Packers, was a 2-time Pro Bowler there in 2019, 2020. Went over to the Minnesota Vikings, was a Pro Bowler. Headed to Cleveland, and still was a productive pass rusher. He's experienced. He's versatile. He's strong. It took him a couple years to actually blossom into this National Football League. The year before he signed over to Green Bay was his best season up to date with the Ravens, had 8.5 sacks, and then he emerged for 13.5 and 12.5 in consecutive years, sack-wise. It takes time. I understand he's 33, pushing 34 come the start of the season, but this is an experienced edge rusher that Atlanta absolutely needs. We are a young one in the edge room department, and also virtually everyone in that room is very new either to the team or to this system, and I'm going to explain why Za'Darius Smith is, I'd say, a very smart signing, considering it's low risk with the amount of money, and also he knows this system. And here's the thing. It's time to talk about what this Falcons edge rush room and really pass rush is stepping up to look like, and I'll touch on it. Don't you worry. I always get around to it. I always have to remind you that we are sponsored by today's show with our friends over at PrizePicks. Thank you for making this show possible. You know that baseball's underway. The W. preseason football back, which is absolutely awesome, and you can cash in with Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app, and the best place to win cash while watching those sports. You can sign up for Prize Picks using our code HMA to get $150 in lineups instantly if you win that first $5 lineup. Got a little baseball lineup for you. Carlos Rodon and Pete Alonso. I decided to take the more. That's what you do. You need at least 2 player picks, up to 6. Take the more, take the less. I picked the more on both. And the thing is, you can match me as well if you wanted to, if you downloaded that Prize Picks app today with the code HMA to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win that first $5 lineup. One more time for you all. That is code HMA for $150 in bonus lineups if you win that first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Alrighty, my friends, let's reel it in a little bit because we have some Za'Darius Smith to talk about, and not just him, but really how he fits in schematically with this team and why it makes sense. It's a smart signing. He's connected with people, not only our head coach, but our general manager, Ian Cunningham. IC was a Baltimore Ravens area scout when Za'Darius Smith was a rookie in Baltimore. I think that's huge. And then also, Za'Darius Smith played for the Cleveland Browns, who the head coach at the time was Kevin Stefanski. He understands how this team operates. He knows the general manager, and he's well connected with the head coach after spending some time with him for a year and a half. This signing was going to happen. I was very confident in it when Za'Darius tried out or worked out. It's really a tryout. Come on, let's be real. When he worked out yesterday for morning practice, that was like, okay, he's connected with this team. It's making sense. Yeah, he's rumored with Cleveland, about to sign, but we need him a lot more than Cleveland does. Let me tell you about that. So reuniting with, his former head coach and now Falcons general manager, I think is just huge. The connections go a long way, and it's why we're bringing in this veteran savvy presence. Now, how the edge depth chart is shaking up, this is who I project to be the 1 and 2 options. I think Za'Darius Smith is a plug-and-play starter. His role is going to be big on this team. Maybe Samson Ebukam goes and takes that spot, or Aziz, just depending on how things shape up. Now, you have to keep in mind that JPJ is out for a significant amount of time, for 8 games. So as far as the edge room is concerned, I'd say, 1, it's very young outside of 2 people. But the thing is those 2 people are brand new Atlanta Falcons. Za'Darius Smith at least knows Kevin Stefanski. He doesn't know Jeff Ulbrich, though, but he knows the head coach. And with Samson Ebukam, this is a completely new system for him. Other than that, and with James Pearce Jr. out, this is what the edge room is shaping up to look like at the start of the season. I don't know if that's really great, but I think adding some veteran presence of people who have done it before at a high level, it can only help you. And the thing that Mark Raimondi, our ESPN Falcons writer, said, he added to a little bit of the edge depth with some of the guys that aren't mentioned on this list right here, saying that Brandon Dorlus, who's only 25, he's been actually working out with the group, with the edge room in practice, and he's listed as a defensive lineman. And Keyshawn Banks, a product out of UFL, he had a great preseason game and has done, I'd say, a really solid job throughout training camp so far. So I think depth-wise, adding so many people in free agency, bringing in some veterans like Samson and now Za'Darius Smith, you can't go wrong with it. It's an all-around smart signing, both from Za'Darius saying yes to the contract and IC giving the contract out. He's comfortable with Kevin Stefanski. Had him as a head coach already. That's huge. And he's cheap. 1 year, $6 million. This is what Ian Cunningham has done. It's these little, prove-it deals. Or in the case of Za'Darius, it's, hey, we need you for right now. But you're not a long-term option. You're going to be 34 throughout the season. But this season, we need you because Jalon Walker's out and JPJ's missing half the year, roughly. However, I do think there's still room in this edge room for Leonard Floyd. I've seen the comments. I know that was my number 1 target, was bring back Leonard Floyd because he knows Jeff Ulbrich, he knows this scheme, and he's another veteran. There's still room. Now, once young pass rush becomes quite old if you do bring on Leonard Floyd, which would be kind of funny if those things shape up. But the thing is, I'll be on top of that if that inevitably happens. I do apologize for some of the technical difficulties this morning. Had to deal with some meetings and some audio issues at my home setup, but I'm glad I'm here in the studio to really break it down in a better sense. And that's the thing, Dirty Birds. If you want to join this community and hit today's goal, we smashed it yesterday with 38. Can we hit it? Can we hit it? Can we keep the good train rolling? Let's do it. Here's the thing, though. We got plenty to talk about joint practice tomorrow. But until then, rise up, and I'll see you next time.